Welcome all you chess addicts. Today we are going to be looking at the very first En-Passant Checkmate, which as we know is the greatest checkmate that is possible, even better than the smother mate. If you ever get an En-Passant Checkmate, you need to take a picture and frame it so that you'll have it as record forevermore. But we're going to look at the very first recorded En-Passant. Now En-Passant of course came in the 15th century, but the very first recorded tournament game was between Gunnar Gundersen and Faul. And this was in 1928 in Melbourne. So we're going to have a look, and it was e4, e6, so we get the French to Finch, and it turns into the advanced variation. And we get c5, c3, c takes d4, which is an inaccuracy, we get c takes d4, and then we get bishop b4 check, which is not in modern theory. We get knight c3, which blocks, knight c6, knight f3, knight g to e7, bishop to d3, and then we get first mistake, and a pretty little mistake here, which was castles. Now, can you see why this is such a mistake? Because Gunnar Gundersen understood straight away. Maybe if you play the London system, you know about the Greek gift. Well, here comes the Greek gift, because we get bishop takes h7, brilliant move, and we get king takes h7, followed by knight to g5 check. Now, of course, we know if we get king to g8, we get followed up what, queen to h5, threatening checkmate here. Which means black has to respond by going rook to e8. Then we get queen to f7, king to h8, queen back to h5 check, queen to g8. Then we get castles by white. We get knight to f5. Then again you get queen to f7 check, getting the king back over to the h8 square. Then you go queen to g6. King has to go back to king to g8. And you can follow this up by moving your rook to d1, to d3, with the idea of sliding over to attack, or you can follow up by bringing your knight to d squares with the idea of bringing your knight to block off these dark squares, with these already covering, increasing the opportunity of checkmate. Now, what happened in the game is that we get h4. Now, what's quite interesting, if you go to the Elite Chess database, we see the most common move here, and this is an average rating of 1900. So this is from the lowest rating possible up to 2000 on Elite Chess. So the average rating of playing queen to g4 is about 1910 on Elite Chess, which is about 1700 on chess.com. But you'll notice when you look at the evaluation that queen to g4 is a mistake, and in fact it loses you quite a lot of momentum in the game. But it's interesting, it's the most common mistake. So why is h4 better? Well, let's follow the game. We had h4. Now, what made h4 even better is that we get this very troubling knight takes d4 mistake. Now we get queen to g4, but with the extra pawn as an attacker, it makes a massive difference, because we get f5 now, we get h5, and with this pawn now being blocking in, our king has only one place to go, and that is to h6. And can you see the checkmate sequence from here? We have mate and 2 on the board, we have knight takes e6, meaning the only possible, with a discovery check by the bishop, meaning the only possible defense is going g5. And once you go g5, you go en passant checkmate, double checkmate. You've got the bishop covering, you've got the rook covering these squares, you've got the knight covering here, and you have the pawns covering here. A beautiful very first En-Passant Checkmate. I hope you enjoyed the video, and please subscribe.